It is what it is. Plus, on a lighter note, uh, I had a run-in with a whole bunch of ants, and let's fix it. I could not figure out where they were coming from. And I have one window open now just because of my paranoia. But I've been attacking them all day. I just sort of I didn't really bomb it, but I bombed an area where I thought they were, and then I saw a marketed decrease in the ants. This is why I can't be one of those, Buddhists, because man, excuse me, I will absolutely murder off a whole nest of all creatures, and you're supposed to live and let Hindu, is it, who don't whack flies or spiders or kill a bug or a roach or whatever. Hey, William, good to see you. Um, but yeah, when it's me and I'm like living, let live normally, some bugs I'll capture and release back out my back window. But some I kill straight away. Is that I was about to say racist, but it's not really racist, right? It's not genocide, it's something totally different. What would it be that I'm playing favorites with? Like I in my life, I don't ever remember hurting a ladybug. You know what I mean? But I've killed a shit ton of bees because I think growing up, people told me bees were dangerous. I think I just cracked racism. Growing up, people told me bees were the problem. Bees were dangerous, right? Bees sting, bees kill people. Stay away from bees. Stay away from bees. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm afraid of bees now. Um, and I think that's a lot of it. But no one ever said that about ladybugs, right? Packing a pipe. Uh, those. I mean, it was less than a week ago that they blew up these 30. I want to say. I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, these 30 young people, and and it's just looking like an asshole move. You know what it is? It's a shot at you going out the door. And I try not to be full of shit, but I don't like that it happened to us, but I get it. Every cowboy movie I've ever seen had, as people are fleeing, you shoot at the stragglers, right? Every war movie I've ever seen, when they're retreating, you press your attack, right? But this wasn't that. This was nobody. I mean, this wasn't anybody pressing on attack. People were leaving already. So it's so bad, man. I was also thinking about my last Saturday guitar show and this coming Saturday guitar show where I don't have a show. I have to come up with something to do on the guitar front because I'm not giving this up. Um, and when I first started this thing, even though I didn't stop doing it because I got tired of it. I stopped doing it because it was really fucking taking a toll on me. Doing 2 a days for 3 hours a day, twice a day, right? Um, what did give a lot of my energy just sort of a sad sort of deflation is some of the tech issues I was facing. I've gotten over it. We're gonna do it anyway, every day 1,000 days. But like I said, I may not do September. I'm not even really up in the air. I just don't want to do it. Uh, I mean, just out of respect for the day, I avoid TV. I don't like to talk about it, right? Um, I will likely watch a shit ton of comedies, old comedies like Caddyshack or Meatballs or some other nonsense, something by Eddie Murphy, somebody by Jim Carrey, just something to take my mind off it. And then when I do that, when it comes to watching TV, I'll probably just throw on some Netflix all day, the day before, the day of, and the day after. Because man, it just it just it's a thing that bothers a lot of us. Uh, Excuse me. As an early riser and a late uh stayer upper, if such a word exists, and it doesn't. Um, I need. Hold on. I need to sort of either sleep later and do this once because, like I said, I like to be up late and then I get up early. I mean, I don't like to get up early. I just get up early. All right, here we go. Why don't we just do this? Um, and today was one of those days. Got up early, checked on the hurricane, which sweet Jesus did like a ridiculous amount of damage. But it is a hurricane. And it has me thinking why we still living in hurricane territories, why we still living in flood plains. Well, I know why. Because if you left them, you would take the economics out of that environment. And some of these towns have like a couple of thousand people, right? So you disintegrate a neighborhood. Um, no water, everybody's got, but then people don't want to move. Then you got to move people. It becomes a Chisholm Trail all over again, right? Uh, People with money always abandon it. Look at this coronavirus thing. For a year and a half, the first thing the rich have been doing is gone to their giant houses, firing their maid staff, right? For that first like 6 months, while telling you that, you got to be a good American. You go get. I like my favorite one is a guy who took a picture of his giant yacht from a drone, and he was smug about it. He was like, "This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm what is it? Self-containing, self-isolating." And people just kind of like, fuck you, man. Some of us got to take the subway. And then he had to, sort of apologize and kind of like, but it is. They're always, they're never out on a limb. They're always pro whatever the popular thing is, right? Or the government thing is. So you should remember that about your rich and famous people who are telling you to, no one's telling you not to take it because not no one, a few of them are. Because some of them realize it's just a career ender. But if Don't Take It was more popular, they'd be all over. There'd be more songs about it. It's ridiculous. So, oof. So, water. I mean, do we even want to check out the hurricane? I don't even want to. It's sort of dismal country. Um, we know what's going to happen. We do this every year. And now that we do this every year, it's going to get worse, right? You're going to be hearing more deaths. You're going to be seeing more powerful storms, but you're going to get the same kind of press coverage. This, oh, wow, well, here we are. Look at the damage. This is bad. Let's talk to Helen, who lost her house. Let's talk to Jim, who lost his house. Let's talk to Bob, who lost his house. Let's talk to Kate, who lost her house. Let's talk to these kids who can't go to school. And then, like, after about 5 days to 10 days of that, they'll be off on whatever new story picked up, right? Oh, this celebrity divorce. He says he hit her. He says she cheated. And this is, you don't ever get the news you want. You get the news they give you, and it's always bullshit. So yeah. So you've got two things going on there. You've got like, why are people living in these zones still, and we know why you can't move them. But they build LA on I don't want to say stolen water, but rerouted water from all these small communities to build a giant city, which I get. You build an important and giant city, right? I mean, it's not like you're fucking wasting it. Uh, but now that the world has shifted in LA in the next, I don't know, probably your lifetime. I'm assuming everyone watching is younger than I am. Uh, and no, I'm not going to tell you how old I am because I've said it on the show 1,000 times. You should have been paying attention. LA water. Excuse me. LA water. Water. LA drought would be better. LA drought. Chicago. All right. Oh my God. Here's your problem. I mean, it's all over the Southwest. It's the Colorado River is it's a thing. So all these people look at this picture. My goodness gracious, we've all seen it 1,000 times, right? Look at now. Just to run over it because we're not all. We can all agree that this is bad, right? Because this line was where the water used to be. What happened to it? I used to think that if you chucked water out of one area, let's say you took out, I don't know, x amount of trucks full of water out of a giant lake, right? I figured that that water goes back into the cycle because you drink it and then you pee it out, or you put it in the plants and then it evaporates. It's absorbed through the plants and in their leaves, and then when they die, the moisture of it seeps back out into the air and then into the clouds and then back into rain, right? Apparently not. I don't know why. I can't. I mean, clouds bring the rain. I like to try and understand stuff, but some stuff I do not understand. I mean, I get droughts when you cut off water and you dam rivers. Look at this. When you dam rivers and such. But I always thought, but it seems like the clouds aren't raining there anymore. I get mudslides, right? The forest burns, that makes more nutrition in the grass, right? Some of the old stuff seeps into the dirt, and it's sort of like knotted hair. If you have long hair, uh, and knotted hair stops your fingers from running through, right? So when you take out all the knots, you can run your. I'm talking about if you have straight hair, you've seen it in the movies. You can run your fingers through it. Um, this is what fires do, right? So fires essentially take out the knots in your hair. So then what you get, continue with the hair metaphor, when you get wildfires and then rain, there's nothing to hold the mudslides back, right? So your fingers become the mud as it just runs through your hair effortlessly and taking whatever you have, whatever, mud is with that. So I get forest fires and why they're dangerous. I'm sort of one of those people. Look at speaking of forest fire, this is all burnt over here. I'm one of the people. Look at how low this river is. Who would think, yeah, let it burn, right? Because, like I said, some of those things fall down. The ground replenishes. It binds up the earth, especially in these hilly places. But if you can't look, you can't. What's the word I'm looking for? You can't stop forest fires, right? They're just, I mean, it's too big a place. You can't like hold your hand down on an earthquake and stop the ground from trembling. It's too arrogant a suggestion, right? It's I don't know. I don't know. I figured we've been on the planet long enough, but the planet has fallen to that. It's like that old cartoon about who speaks for the trees. What's the name of that? It's a Dr. Seuss book. Anyway, but it's sort of like that. Like you've known that you need to take care of this environment, and people just want to kind of deplete it. Look at the. I mean, think about how much water used to be. Oh boy, wow! Think about how much water used to be in these California waterways that are famous in Grand Theft Auto and like in like the Terminator movies. There used when you go look, you know what? You could look up the LA Reservoir 50 years ago and see how big it is. Yeah. At this point, I think we're just yeah gimmicks, little black balls. Okay. 1950s. Look how filled it was. The Water and Power Association. We are not, look, all life lives by, well, not all life, all human life lives, I want to say within, generally within about 50 or 100 miles of a water system, whether it's by the beach or by a stream or by a mountain, unless you live in the city, right? Then water is all under your feet. But losing the water as ice caps melt, I don't understand. I don't understand it. What are we in 2020? They're talking 2050. They're always full of shit. They always kick it down the road so they don't have to deal with it. I think it's going to be more than 2050. I think by the 2030s, which is in my lifetime and your lifetime, hopefully we'll be here, and which would be in our uh, I want to say average lifespan. If you have an if you're living out and you have an average lifespan, likely younger than me, you should be here in 10 years, unless you know fall to um, bad luck. We'll call it. I don't want. I was going to say sinister circumstances, but this word sinister implies death or something, right? But these could be accidents. Just you fall to bad luck. I fall to bad luck. But generally, I think we're going to have water problems before then. And I mean water problems like drought and water problems like flooding. Uh yeah, the LA reservoir. Look at all the look at all that fucking see, this snow should run downhill into streams and then brooks and then, you know, small bodies of water and up till you get like some rivers and yeah, it should, but it's not. No fishing. This is a pretty funny but sad picture. No fishing. Look how far away the water's gotten. Yeah, it is what it is. But since we're talking about water, let's check on the hurricane. Oh my goodness. Is there another one coming? Yep, there's another one coming. It looks, oh man, when is this one coming? The National Hurricane Center has issued a rare hurricane watch for parts of New England, warning that a tropical storm Henry will likely develop into a hurricane before making landfall on the northeastern U.S. coast this weekend. This weekend. Oh my God. What is that? That's like the fourth, the third and the fourth. Today's the 30th. All right. Wow. Wow. Look at this. I've not seen a lot of these. It's gonna miss well, it's gonna the very edge is gonna hit Norfolk and Washington, but it's gonna hit New York again as it goes to wow. See, the thing about up north is people get storms, and normally by oh, wait a minute, hold on, let's duplicate this. Um, Hurricane Ida, because we're gonna yeah. This is what I wanted to spot. All right, so look at these pictures. So this is going to end up this is coming to New York. Maybe I should have found a better one. Yeah, this is a better one. So this is what right. This is by Tuesday, and this storm is coming by Saturday. So you're gonna have like two storm fronts within like 24 hours of each other, smack around Washington, Philadelphia, uh, parts of Pennsylvania, New York. Wow. Yeah, Atlanta. It's just gonna be rain, wind gusts. Well, wind and rain. 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The next 30%, 80%, 40%. Yeah, and then you're gonna get this. Henry strikes southeast New England as a hurricane this weekend. It will be the first direct hurricane landfall since Bob in 1991. It's a thing, you rarely get them, but when they hit, since people aren't prepared for them, they kick your ass. Henry's maximum sustained winds reached 70 miles per hour on Saturday, just short of hurricane strength. Hurricanes have sustained winds at least 74 miles per hour. The hurricane watch was issued on early Friday, covering a large portion of Long Island areas from New Haven, Connecticut to Sagamore Beach, Massachusetts. The National Hurricane Center said resort islands such as Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket are also in the watch zone. This is when you get out of town if you can. All these rich people who live on Martha Vineyards will not be there when this comes through. They have the means to get the fuck out of there, and they will. Everyone else, poor people, got to stay put. Where'd you go anyway? In addition to strong winds and heavy rain, some people don't even have families. We talked about this. Forecasts are warning of storm surges that could inundate land with 3 to 5 feet of water. Confidence is high that the event will occur Saturday into Monday. The National Weather Service office in Boston said in a briefing early Friday. Wow. Wow. That is not awesome. This is not awesome either. Uh, when is sunset?
Sunset will be at 7:35 p.m. today.
Okay, let's try and remember that because we like to track our sunsets. It is. I got to tell you, this is a great window just because how the clouds move through. When I was a kid, I did a lot of doodling in the margins of my school books. Right, if I liked your class, I got 90s in them. But if I didn't like your class, I kind of really didn't care. I was just looking to pass. Uh, Spend a lot of time looking out windows, checking out the clouds, and watching the street life. Uh, so, what are we gonna do here today? We can check the news because like here's the thing, we've gone through it already. The last U.S. troops leave Afghanistan. 10 civilians killed by U.S. drone strike in Kabul. Families say. Okay. The world's most popular and dangerous cosmetic surgery. Getting butt surgeries. Uh, this is what I don't understand about Governor DeSantis. All right, so DeSantis, this is the headline in Newsweek. DeSantis faces another legal test for controversial law tied to crimes committed at protests, right? He doesn't seem to be doing anything but someone else's bidding. And they all had the same kind of like, well, we've made these people our personal army. We don't have to do what they say because they'll fall in line, and we're going to war with the other side. Just why can't people do their time, a reasonable amount of time, and then be monitored as they go back into society? Why does and I tell you, they want to pimp you for your emotional content. They want you to hate this and be super obedient to that. But when it comes to just a passionless, good idea for you to sit here and go, huh, maybe it is time we did X, Y, or Z in this country. They don't want that. They always want to lead you around by the nose. Um, and they're above the courts. So you know, they're the worst. They're the worst of it. They've made the Southern All Boys Network just a national thing, right? It's this golf club at one point, and it's this hostile group of people who will ride on you. Oh my God, I don't even have this up. Who will ride on you? Excuse me, sorry. Uh, who will like ride on you and just be evil. So he wants to, and mind you, first generation American, mind you. This is my whole thing about all these people from Cuba, and I'm saying the same thing with. Last I checked, it was 60,000 people coming from Afghanistan. That's going to be a problem. I don't care what anybody says. That's going to be a problem. Um, why is he trying to write laws against your right to Why is he trying to put you in jail for your right to protest? It isn't new. It isn't controversial. It's part of the founding of the place. And on top of that, why is he writing laws to restrict your right to, if you wear a mask, you're in trouble? I mean, he doesn't seem serious. I think I'm not for recalls. I think they're a way for sorry, I think it's a way for political action groups to to overturn the will of the people in an election. You pick the bad guy, get rid of the bad guy. But I really do believe you pick the not bad guy, the bad choice. Uh, how do we find out if the other guy would have been better? Right? That's a Gwyneth Paltrow sliding doors kind of reference. Um, no, so okay, you pick the dude, so you got to stand with the dude. But when he does stupid stuff, you should somehow be able to make him do the right thing. You can't, right? If there was a trap door built into all electoral like offices where if your approval ratings hit 25%, it's an automatic recall is generated, then I would understand. Hey man, what's up? Ugh, ice water. Then I will understand. You know what I'm saying? But this whole first of all, these guys have been there. He's new, but the governor in California has been there for a while. Like the governor in New York has been there for a while, and they sort of get just arrogant and like Robin Hood. Like remember the king, not the king. Who was he? He was like the earl or some shit, the prince or whatever. How arrogant they get, and then they afford the cops to be arrogant, right? The knights or whoever they were, and then they just openly start stealing from the people, right? That is a very old and true motif. It's still ring today. Other than the part where the guy comes from the and that by the way, he was royalty, mind you, so it wouldn't happen. But somebody coming from the bottom to challenge it is unlikely. Some rich guy speaking against it and challenging any real way is unlikely. But the truth of that story is the longer people stay in power, the cushier they get, then the more arrogant they get. Then it leads to them doing the same um, nonsense that was done in the movie, right? Brutality to the women, greed and overtaxation to the population, and brutality to like the people. Um, what was that thing? They will conscript you, right, to go fight their wars, right? And then there was that prima nocta thing where the lord of the town would be like, "Yeah, I heard you getting married, so I'm a bless your union by sleeping with you." I mean, some of that shit is just goofy, and you sit here, you wonder How does that pass muster anywhere? And mind you, these were always Christian nations, Western European Christian nations, right? So it's not like where we don't know this, and it's some hinterland of people who also, you know, sacrifice like virgins and shit. I don't think they sacrifice virgins. I think they use the virgins. But there was a fair amount of brutal murders. Don't get me wrong. Like drawing and quartering, tying somebody to four horses and then ripping them from limb to limb is just fairly barbaric, right? The guillotine is barbaric. Fucking, I mean, we burned women here, time to and set them on fire. That's barbaric, right? Now we talk about uh not to be unusually cruel, but the electric chair is still fucking fairly barbaric. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but as far as I'm concerned, you could slip a Mickey into their like lunch dinner, and they don't know when it's coming, and then you can just save yourself the bullet and the electrical charge. But here's the problem with that. Now that we're sliding into the death penalty, the problem with the death penalty is it has been given to a lot of what a lot of people now believe are innocent people because of racial reasons, or women never get the death penalty, by the way. Uh, but countless men throughout the ages have gotten it for political expediency and other nonsensical reasons. Um, Yeah, and if and every time I have this conversation about police and police work, I always point to Bull Connor, right, who ran that town like, you know, he was a king of it, and the president wouldn't even the idea states' rights is a way for uh states who aren't doing the right thing by you to keep doing the wrong thing by you, right? The federal government should come in and knock that shit off. And the federal government has a ton of ways to do it. We're not giving you federal money for these highways. We're not going to give you federal. And I'm going to remind you, it's not like they'll just go, oh, all right. Remember, in the 50s, when they integrated the schools in, I want to say Mississippi were closed for 10 years. And then they just set up their own schools before they reopened public schools. 10 years. So, man, hate is a real thing. Like, you put all this hate and redefine the definition of what some of these religions are in the Middle East, and now you can blow people up. Good luck getting that out of that system. Good luck, because once you put it in and then you associate it with religion and people's spiritual obligation to do it, people will run. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to start a church and say that it's their God's first church and it's God's will that but that you eat fish on Friday. And you know how many people ate fish on Friday? They came up with the Mac fish fillet, uh, sort of to take advantage of this, right? That's a very famous story. I give it to you in a nutshell. This guy who owned a McDonald's outlet noticed his business dropped off. I think he noticed his business dropped off uh, Friday. And then one dude was like, "What's up with that?" And one guy was like, "Well, we can't eat meat on Friday." He was talking to a Jewish guy. We can't eat meat on Friday. Um, because we're Catholic, or right? Yeah, because we're Catholic. And he was like, oh, so he messed around. He came up with like a fillet of fish, and drove the business up, and it was so popular that that is a military helicopter. Drove the business up, and profits were so good. Oh, um, yeah. Uh, the the thing was so good that everybody adopted it. And quite frankly, I don't eat it for religious reasons, but when I do go, I love the French fries, and I will go and get like three large French fries and a fillet of fish. Um, not so much anymore with the Corona out here running around, but yeah, that's and so if and here's another thing. When I was a kid, the supersized sodas were awesome. Now I can't have that much liquid splashed around in the car console, or I never finish it, and I think it's too much sugar anyway, right? So I always ask for a water. right? So that the bad thing is all the fries, deep fried fries, nice salty fries, right? A fish fillet or two and a water, and like the kid is gold. And a lot of people do that who are adhering to not having fish, not to having fish on Friday and not eating beef. So they may go get. Uh, I don't even know if they can have French fries. But yeah, and now they first of all, why would you get a salad from McDonald's? Now they have salads at McDonald's. Why would you get one? Why would you get one? Um, so yeah, it's not easy. So this whole thing started because we were talking about um DeSantis and his he's stopping people from protesting, and he's making these ridiculous rules about you can't nobody can wear a mask in a school or in a business by the government, or we'll fine you if you ever. How dare you try and protect yourself and wear a mask? Why is he governor? He seems ridiculous. I love tuna fish sandwich. Tuna fish sandwich with a hard boiled egg in it, a little um not cayenne, uh mayo, a little tartar sauce mixed in with it, uh pickles, relish, a little relish. Swirl that up, smack that between a toasted two toasted whole wheat breads and a layer of American cheese. American cheese gets a bad rap, by the way. I love American cheese, but American cheese, it's just melty goodness. It melts better than everything else. Um, but yeah, American cheese gets a bad rap because all the cheese connoisseurs don't like it. They want to still be able to sell you a wheel of cheese from Italy, whereas you can just get a nice block and use that shit forever. Um, we'll leave with dignity. You better get out of Kabul, you idiot. Afghan folk singer taken from his house and killed by the Taliban. So this week they killed the folk singer because no singing, and they killed the comedian. And here's the thing about these. I don't know if people are going to go out there and get to them now that the Americans are gone, right? I don't know. I don't know if it's just some random one-off going, hey, there's that dude that I hate who lives over there. That's what you get when you get people roaming around the countryside with guns under the banner of war. We never talk about the shit that the Prussian soldiers did, and I mean, it was fairly brutal, right? It was war. There was burning people and stealing and looting and raping women in the revolutionary time. Yeah. Stop acting like it was gentlemen fighting wars all the time. It was just as dark and just as fucking full of shit. The weak get killed a lot in war. We can look up World War II stats, and they killed a lot of soldiers, but they killed even more fucking civilians. Like, and you think, wow, my army, his army had a fight. I had 100 people. He had 100 people, and I lost 25, but we won, and he lost 50, right? So yeah, But then you look if the community was 100 people, like you killed like 40 of them, 40% of them, right? You killed way more of them than you killed them in these soldiers. This is my thing about these idiots who are always talking shit about my guns here in America, gun rights and all this. First of all, the conversation is about guns. Like so and so shouldn't have these. So what? You can't fight a war with a handgun, right? Uh, it's about long guns. It's about the AR-15. And should you have them? I don't know. I think you should. I think you can have them because why would the founder say you can have a gun that's woefully inadequate to what they said you could use it for, right? Having said that, now you're in the age of drones and fucking, hellfire missiles from 10,000 feet in the air. That makes that move. I'll tell you another thing that is now pointless. Your right to privacy, right? Yeah, it was fun while it lasted, but it's still on the books though. But seriously, your right to privacy is bullshit. Google and all these other search engines sold you out, sold your information. You can sit up here and go, man, I wish I had harmonica, and then you'll pick up your phone and there'll be an ad for harmonica on it. So, I mean, some of these things slip away. Um, and don't get it wrong, I think they sunset it because we've done so well and lived so long. But now you have to come up with a reason, not a reason, a way to either officially sunset it so people aren't going, I got my uh not I got my rights, but uh I got my privacy, but you gave your privacy up. Um some privacy is still gonna stand like don't put your hand in my pocket when you pat me down. You can't go in a locked glove compartment, or you can't just come into my house. Right? These are privacy laws. But the privacy, like your whole life is on your phone. It really is. All the people you love are in there, and how much you love them. The people you talk to most, right? Oh well, he obviously called these people most. He called this number and this. So what about them? They're doing the same thing. So I could track, oh, look, they both like the bowl, or they both like sports, or they both play the guitar. Oh, now we know why they like each other. Oh, hey, here's another connection. They went to high school together. Or oh, they met in the war. Or, oh, these people hang out. Well, wait, she's married to him, but she's always here calling him at this time. And he's got to watch, I wonder what's going on over there. So your privacy is kind of shot. It really is. Somebody needs to come up with a way to make sure you your let's call it your general privacy is somehow addressed, since your sacred privacy, let's call it sacred, to not be have people come in without a warrant in your house and like stuff that they can, but all that other stuff, like I told somebody on their podcast, I'm like, you don't think the government knows what porn you're watching, right? So if you're out here, uh like the guy who tried to run for governor of Florida and then ended up married, by the way, then ended up all drugged out with some gay prostitute in a hotel. And then the cops took a picture of him, passed out, foaming at the mouth, covered in shit. First of all, those cops should have been fired. But this is that right wing kind of. But and then he's like, I'm going to take some time off from politics. Yeah, I think you should, dummy. Uh, just you lead a fucked up life, but you still go into to public life in the first place. It's a sign of like just mental what the fuckness. Uh, so that is quite a story. Um, what do you do with these people? So yeah, so your privacy is gone. I forgot how we got off on this. Yeah, DeSantis again. All these women saying R. Kelly did all this shit. He has a problem with that. Uh, I'm not gonna. A homie once told me, "You want to die on that hill?" I'm not dying on this hill. I'm not gonna defend R. Kelly, but I think uh, all of a sudden everybody comes out to say mean things at your trial. They should have some evidence, because now it's just like I said, pimping you for emotional content. Oh, I just read that. Oh, he did this. Oh, that's horrible. But how do you know he actually did that? And someone just is lying on the stand. So fucking many people lie on the stand. Um, I'm sure she was interviewed by. She has a lawyer to represent her, and then she was interviewed by lawyers to prosecute the case. It's so ridiculous. Trump voters should be loving Joe Biden. Everybody's got a weird opinion on these things. Shang-Chi comics is playing with the next MCU movie. I used to love comic books, man. I in the last 2 years, there's a Resident Evil movie. In the last 2 years, I'm so off of comic book. I'm so off of them. It's too many. Another young actor kills himself. Child actor Matthew Midler died by suicide. Yeah, no shit. He was 19, right? Um, and I think that's what it is, right? I think people tell you you're great, you have this great run, you have all these TV shows, you're wonderful, right? And then when you get out, it's hard to be a regular person. And sometimes I think you have an all right career as a young person, and then you get out back in the normal society, and people won't let you live it down. They fuck with you about it, and it sort of becomes like the thing they bully you with, right? And then that can lead you to these dark places. Ugh. Feel like I'm walking through the desert sometime. Yeah, excellent. Um, I told y'all about the issues I had with the invading ants, right? So yeah, let's not look him up because that's sad and tragic. They're always these people are ridiculous. uh, Ida slams Hurricane Ida slammed Louisiana coast on the 16th anniversary of Katrina. There's an interesting thing. The world has finally stopped using leaded gasoline. Algeria used the last stockpile. Huh. So apparently, this is interesting. Let me look this up. I remember lead being a thing in the 70s. Leaded gasoline's century-long reign of destruction is over. The final holdout, Algeria used up the last of its stockpile of leaded gasoline, so no one's making anymore in July. That, according to the UN Environmental Program, UN Environment Program with an MME. It's just, you people suck. You really do. If this whole thing was in another language, I would get it. This just looks up your own skirt. Just everybody calm down. Which has spent 19 years trying to eliminate leaded gasoline around the globe. Okay. The successful enforcement of the ban on leaded petroleum is a huge milestone for the global health and our environment. Ingar Anderson, United Nations Environmental Program Executive Director, said Monday. The United Nations estimated that the phase out of the toxic fuel will save 2.44 trillion per year. So what you gonna do with the savings? Thanks to improved health and lower crime rates, preventing more than 1.2 million premature deaths. Thanks to improved health. United Nations estimate the phase out of the toxic fuel will save 2.4 per year, thanks to improved health and lower crime rates. Why crime? Are people trafficking in leaded gasoline? A toxic breakthrough. In 1921, researchers at General Motors discovered that adding a compound called tetra, tetra, the tetrathiol led to gasoline, uh, led, tetrathiol led, not led to, but led to gasoline could improve engine performance. Not so fun fact, Thomas Mingley Jr., a scientist who played a key role in what proved to be a calamitous discovery, also developed the chlorofluorocarbons. So the dude was like an agent of death, a class of refrigerant that went on to damage the ozone layer. Yeah, it's all the smart people you got to watch out for. You shouldn't hate smart people, but sometimes smart people, when you go, this is bad for us, they look down their nose at you like, we have advanced degrees. We obviously know what we're doing. And then they do all this evil. You know what I base that opinion on? When I was in school doing reports, I went to the the what is the film? Uh, what would they call it? It's it's the films in the bottom of the library, and you put up and you can look up old headlines and old newspapers, read stories from like 19 you know oh 01 on this date what happened. So I looked at my birthday, I looked at my mom and my dad's birthday, see what the headlines were on it. But you also look up what doctors of the day said. They said like black people didn't feel pain, and you go a little further back and they say black people didn't have a soul, and all this other kind of shit told you by PhDs. So watch what just because someone's got an advanced degree doesn't mean that they are they're not above they're not above. I'm about to say recognition. That's not the one I'm looking for. They're not above not rebuke, but It'll come back to me. They're not above being questioned. They're not above. They're not infallible. A clash of that went on to damage the ozone layer. There were other additives that could serve the same purpose today. Ethanol is widely used as far as a far safer alternative, but lead quickly became the standard. Sounded like there was a lead lobby. At the time, it was well known that lead was a poison, and there was concerns of the risk to workers exposed to the dangerous additive. But researchers working for the automobile automakers, oil companies, and chemical giants said the general public would not be harmed. They lied again. Would not be harmed by low levels of exposure through added lead. So they were like, oh my God, they knew it was a poison to begin with. These are the elite criminals. These are the people who no one ever fucking throws in jail. You just take everything they've made through the course of their life and throw them in fucking prison. You do it to drug dealers, right? The tobacco industry did this and murdered off a bunch of people. Like, you're telling me that lead is not in who's telling me this? Giant companies, lawyers, the automakers and the oil companies and the chemical companies, right? Yeah. The general public would not be harmed, of course not. That turned out to be disastrously false. Children in particular were vulnerable to even minute amounts of lead exposure, and the use of leaded gasoline has been linked to lower IQs and higher rates of violent crime. Uh, Lead exposure. Oh, really? Lead? There's a link with lead and high. I know the IQ thing. Really? Okay. Lead exposure also causes heart disease, cancer, and other diseases. And when burned in an engine, lead can easily contaminate air, water, and soil. Wow. So you're driving something that damages the ground it's running on, the air that's around it, and whatever water that runs through it. It took decades for scientists to establish the damage that leaded gasoline was causing, but by that point, virtually all the gasoline in the world had lead added to it. See, these are the people who did you in, and they're never called to account. They get to die in their beds, and they should be in prison cells. Huh? Developed countries phase it out first. Yeah. United States Environmental Protection Agency started an effort to phase out leaded gasoline in 1973. Starting in the 1970s, new vehicles were designed to run on unleaded gas. In fact, the new cleaner generation of cars couldn't run on leaded gasoline. It would destroy the catalytic converters. So if you had old gas and you put it in a modern car, it would destroy the car. Okay. The new oh wow, the new unleaded gasoline was more expensive, but the transition was unstoppable. By mid 80s, most gasoline used in the US was unleaded, although leaded gasoline for passenger cars wasn't fully banned in the US until 1996. Today, leaded fuel cars can be used only in aircraft and off-road vehicles. Most other high-income countries followed suit, but in much of the developed world, leaded gasoline continued to be widespread use at the time of the millennium. Really? So in 2002, United Nations Environment Programme launched an effort to work with government and industries to phase out leaded fuel everywhere. Don't tell me the world can't get together and do some shit. I mean, this is a positive thing, a long awaited milestone. The fight for cleaner vehicles continue. Really? What's wrong with cars now? The last of those no stockpile have been eliminated. Okay, let's read the whole fucking thing then. Now, a century after it was developed and 50 years after its dangers were established, leaded gasoline, at least as a legal fuel for street vehicles, is no more. Okay. The fight for cleaner vehicles. He said, all right. I guess the cleaner vehicle thing is the electric vehicle. Here's the problem with the electric vehicle. I'm gonna save you some time of me finishing the whole article so that before we go through it. Here's the thing about let's cut this on. When sunset.
Sunset will be at 7:35 p.m. today.
Sunsets in 2 minutes, people. Prepare yourselves. Um, Here's the thing about new cars, right? So the new cars are supposed to be electric, but here's the problem with electric. We haven't improved on battery technology in like forever. Like the thing that improves the most and the easiest and the fastest is chips, right? You get a new chip every fucking 2 years, and have been getting a new, more powerful chip every 2 years since computers became a thing. Um, there's a famous algorithm of it. What up? uh, so auto batteries, like electric car batteries, and then they set your car on fire, right? Just like those phone batteries that a few years ago, car electric. Uh, so right now we're talking about we're wandering through the news today, but now we're talking about car batteries because they just used up the last of. Let's put this question on. Uh, they just used up the last of the world's. The world has finally stopped using leaded gasoline. Algeria used the last stockpile. So the story says we started to phase it out in 1976. I'm 73. I'm sorry. And I was looking at when we finally, but they don't tell us when we finally stopped using it. By the mid 80s, most of the gas was, so 10 years until 1996. And they, okay. So from the 70s to about 1996. And poor countries had no, I want to say had no choice but to use it. But now there's no lead in any gasolines as of I guess a few weeks ago, which I guess is a good thing. Uh, but man, the killer line in this is the killer line in this is where is it? How the auto companies, the chemical companies, and the gasoline companies essentially conspired to lie like the tobacco industry did. And here it is. But researchers working for the automotive, oil companies, and chemical giants said that the general public would not be harmed. They essentially lied, and people again died in droves because of it. And it's still here. Well, not here anymore. It just ended December 1970. I used to love these cabs. Um, I always wanted to own one as a personal vehicle, but you can't. Uh, actually, not true. Some people have them, but they're like a yeah, they were iconic for New York, and then they got rid of them. But yeah, so the problem with that now is batteries. If you're gonna, that story had talk about the new like they're still trying to improve cars, but the problem is we haven't improved the battery. Um, and like I said, when you get it wrong, they set your car on fire. A car electric battery power with lead. These have lead in. Lead acid batteries are capable of up to 130 kilometers, 80 miles per hour. Invest in CHPT Charge Point stock. They own 70% of all electric vehicles charging stations. Well, we getting some good. I'm gonna keep this to myself. Uh, we're getting some good stock information. Maybe we should start a show about stocks. We need to know more about cash to begin with. Uh, but here's the thing: NIMH batteries have higher specific energy that lead acid prototypes deliver up to 200, 120 miles. Right. So 80 miles per charge and 120 miles per charge, but how fast do they go? You know what I mean? And I also heard that they're so silent that you have to put an engine noise in it so pedestrians can hear them. Let's see if that's true. Can you hear electric cars? Why electric cars are getting louder? Really? So let's put them up there. Um, all right. So 6 years ago, three Volvo engines sat on a forest floor in western Sweden, picking twigs off the ground and snapping them in half. Of Volvo engineers, we were in the woods for 2 days sampling sounds. But electric vehicles draw power from batteries instead of noisy combustion engines. Don't make much noise at slow speeds, so quiet can be dangerous for cyclists and pedestrians who may not hear a car sneaking up behind them, as well as people with visual impairments who rely on sound to detect approaching vehicles. Yeah, they're super quiet. Super quiet. Um, your money, always money. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. So they don't go fast either. How fast? I mean, we're Americans. We like fast cars. If if you get an electric car and it's like a minivan, it makes perfectly good sense, right? You tool around the town, you can get 80 miles. It totally makes sense. But once you begin to get cars like that, I hate to say it, but you sort of become Russia, right? All those weird little European cars that were in this thing, they only came in two colors, three colors, tan, black, and this that off green color. Uh, here, car culture is a thing. How fast are electric cars? You don't want them to take all the interesting energy out of what's going on here. Now, we're not talking about these things. We're not talking about these sports car bullshit. We're talking about regular cars, top speed electric car. How fast? Hmm. Wait, hold on. Ugh, that's not good. How are these 11 cheap electric vehicles you can buy? Right. So yeah, let's look up the cars you can buy. Yeah, look at this. Who wants to drive this thing? A Nissan Leaf. It's called a Leaf, for God's sakes. Hold on. Oh my God. It's called a Leaf. It's called a Leaf. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen on the same street as this thing. A Nissan Leaf, 28,000 estimated uh range, 149 to 226 miles. A Mini Cooper. Okay, electric Mini Cooper looks balling. I can get behind that. 30 grand. All right. A Chevy Bolt, another tiny little mess. That looks like a nice thing you'd buy for college for your kid. 31. 247, 259. Are you for federal plug-in tax? No. There's a plug-in tax. What's this other one? Eligible for federal plug-in tax credit? Yes. Yes. All right. So this one isn't. Mazda MX-30 2020. This is 34,000. This looks pretty all right. But still, I don't want it. That looks standard bullshit. Who wants that? Hydraulic, a Hyundai. I is this Lonique or Ionique electric? What in the world? Hyundai Kona electric, 35. Oh, Kia, and then you plug it in, 41 grand. Then there's the Tesla models, 41 grand. Mustang. Really? There's an electric Ford Mustang. Mustang Mach E, 43 grand, 211 to 305. Oh, BMW i3, 45 grand. Look at this. Look, anybody who hits you in this is going to kill you. There's another thing to having a lot of stuff around you. You need to have charging stations configured at your house. So now do you buy the car, you buy a charging station. Yeah, no, none of these look, yeah, nope, done with that. So yeah, electric cars, that's one of the big problems. And if, like I said, if the batteries could work, if they could make a breakthrough with the batteries, like these chip breakthroughs, if they could make a breakthrough with medicine, like these chip breakthroughs, right? If they could make it break, then your iPhone could last, 3 days instead of perpetually being plugged in. Um, same thing with your phone, right? Um, we haven't improved on a lot of our good technology. The battery was a great idea. Uh, you can leave your car for what, a week to 10 days before you need to give it a jump. You're supposed to start it every few days if you're not driving it around, but that can be like once every 5, 10 days or so. But once you leave it sitting there like in an airport for 3 weeks, uh, it might turn over then too. But you can't if you leave your phone on your counter for 2 days and come back to it unused, it'll still have a charge, I think. But we should look that up. So, hold it. Oh, I thought this was the look of the battery. This is a company. It's down 20%. It's time to buy. Quantum complete combustion. What is this? Electric contact, solid state ceramic separators. I'm telling you, man, if you could, here comes the lighting. If you could fiddle around and make a battery in your garage, you would be a trillionaire overnight. But it's also like the buy, yeah, exactly, buy low, sell high. I've been doing the opposite. Um, uh, if you can like invent some like in your garage, trillionaire overnight, trillionaire overnight. I think people need a new fuel source, right? A new battery, because what are we using? We're using gas, right? That we got to dig out of the ground, natural gas, or we're using gasoline, which is what exactly is gasoline? But you can't put all that fuel on a rocket ship or anything. And there's rocket fuel, right? Which is all kinds of explosive hydrogen, kerosene, yeah, rocket propellant. I mean, it'd be great if you could get it to be like it was in like, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way where you don't need to dig giant holes in the ground and destroy the trees, and then put shit together that when it gets together destroys the ozone layer or uh. But I don't know, man. We will see. Maybe we've just reached our limit of going places. Uh, to the moon on gasoline is ridiculous. You wouldn't. Your ship would. Your shit would be the amount of fuel you would need would make it a pointless exhibition. Yep, you can see the lightning crackling. Oh, we missed sunset. All right, ladies and gentlemen, uh, we've been streaming for an hour and 12 minutes. We're coming close to the wrap on this thing. Do we want to hit any of the high notes of what we talked about today? Because we were all over the place, and that's part of the magic. We talked about the hurricane and why people still live there, especially since the hurricane environments are getting worse, right? These hurricanes are getting worse. So, and more hurricanes, stronger hurricanes will just lead to more damage, stronger. So, why are they still there? It's a good question. We talked about these governors. We didn't really go into the California governor. Uh, we may talk about Larry Elder tomorrow. Um, Larry Elder is being demonized because he's leading, right? Just like uh, Eric Adams in New York was demonized when he was leading. So I kind of expect it, but they're taking some really seriously lazy and cheap shots. No one wants the people. No one in power wants the people that the voters want in there, right? So there's a Buffalo mayor's race going on. That's really interesting. Maybe we'll do that right now before we take off in the next. Uh, they're going to get rid of the Buffalo mayor so this woman cannot win the seat, which is ridiculous to me. You know, they're all for stymieing justice when they're about to lose. This guy, Muffler Brown, to remain off the November ballot. See, so he lost the primary, and he's trying to get the courts to stick him on the ballot anyway. You lost, right? This is a matter of not first, second, and third, right? This is a matter of the first four people, right? Uh, two contests each side of the fence. Whoever wins their contest gets to go to the center ring, and you want to go to Elder? Okay. Will win this thing. So he lost the primary, and he's suing to get on the ballot anyway. Brown's petition to get on the ballot with Buffalo Party ruled invalid. Yeah, he does not want to lose to this woman. Look how young she is. And she calls herself a socialist. Yeah, she ousted him. Favorable 42, unfavorable 43. No opinion, never heard of her. Is your opinion Brown favorable, 54 favorable? If he's got 54 favorability, why did he lose? Is your opinion of socialist favorable or unfavorable? 31 favorable, 40 unfavorable. Yeah, because socialists got a bad, and mind you, the older people vote, so they're still running what they thought socialism was in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s with the Nazis and the communists, and it's not that. Okay, we don't need to see any more of that. Let's look up Elder, who's leading in the California will be fine if Larry Elder replaces Gavin Newsom. They're trying to scare people. Well, LAPD investigation of leading recall contender Larry Elder derailed his campaign. See, now there's talk about, oh, the cops are investigating. It's all, oh man, I didn't do this right, did I? Sorry. All right. So all of a sudden the snakes come out. They kick up all this dust about him. They had a picture of his girlfriend on the newspaper, his ex-girlfriend. Um, let's look him up. Is he a Republican? I think he's a Republican, but up in the California recall. He's if most of the people want him, where is it? Political kind of all right. Larry Elder Wiki. There you go. Brown University, University of Michigan. He's a lawyer, a radio host, writer, attorney. He's an attorney, another attorney. He fit right in. Los Angeles doesn't say if he's a Republican. There you go. So the Democrats, the media career. I'm for Elder. Radio writing, political position. Elder views are conservative. Elder's views are conservative and right wing. Elder is a registered Republican. In 2021, he said that he had voted for the Republican candidate in every presidential election since 1980 after voting for Democrat Jimmy Carter in 1976. Elder labels himself a small libertarian as opposed to members of the Libertarian Party. He's an ardent supporter of former President Donald Trump. Uh, frequently praising him on Twitter, Elder has argued that it is unfair to blame Trump for 2021 United States Capitol attack. I've said that before too. Elder did, however, oppose Trump's support for tariffs and the reduction of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. He was a war hawk. Yeah, so I can see why they don't like him. Do we want to look up his economic issues? In the book 10 Things You Can't Say in America, Elder has laid out a 10-point plan to save America. All right, at least he's got a plan. It's more than what's that dude, the Olympic guy. What's his name? Her new name. Just because Elder looks like us doesn't mean he's with us. That's true. Yeah, but Elder, like I said, Elder had wrote a book about America, right? Elder has argued that Roe v. Wade should be overturned, according to the decision. Yeah, he's political activities. 221 California governor recall. In July 2020, Elder announced that he was running against Governor Gavin Newsom in the 2021 California gubernatorial recall election. He said that he was encouraged to run by fellow conservative talk show figure Dennis Prager, who's a fucking idiot. Sorry. California Secretary of State Shirley Weber initially omitted Elder's name from the list of candidates on the ballot. That's the kind of bullshit you're dealing with, right? Saying that he failed to submit complete tax return information required for the candidate for the recent patches of Senate Bill 27. Senate Bill 27, alternately known as President Tax Transparency and Accountability Act. You can't write a bill about the president. It's a California law that requires a candidate running for either president of the United States or governor of California to publicly release their tax return of the previous 5 years. Okay. Which mandated tax return disclosure for both president and gubernatorial candidates in order to appear on a primary ballot. I don't think they can do that. That's essentially them keeping someone off the ballot. That's gonna go to Supreme Court, which is full of Republicans. The presidential requirement was struck down by the courts. I knew it. What did I say? Oh my God. So Elder sued, saying that his paperwork was properly submitted. On July 21st, 2021, Judge Laura Earl of Sacramento Court ordered Elders reinstated to the recount ballot, holding that Weber improperly disqualified him. Yeah, let's look up her political affiliations. You better watch these people. Bio. PhD, nominated to serve council with Gavin Newsom, sworn in. She's a California first Black Secretary of State and only the fifth African American to serve as a state constitutional officer in California's 170-year history. Yeah, let's remember California had a no Black people clause for a very long time. So she's a Democrat. Okay, so she played the same fucking games. It's like what's his name down in South Carolina, Clyburn, another Democratic functionary stuck there because they needed a Black face. You need honest people in these positions, people, Republican or Democrat. You need honest people. So he had to sue to go get on the ballot. He does that, and now he's leading the elections for Elder. Reinstate the recall ballot, holding that Weber improperly disqualified Elder, who has substantially complied with the closure requirements, and that the tax return requirement in Senate Bill 27 apply to direct primary election ballots and not special recall elections. After this entry, Elder had been regarded as the front runner on election. Yeah, it looks like if Gavin Newsom loses this thing, he's going to lose it to Elder. However, he has refused to participate in debates or even to share a stage with certain other candidates at Republican Party events. That makes sense to me because some of these Republicans have said and done dumb shit. If I was a Republican, I would not associate myself with these people so I could cover over their racist nonsense. That's ridiculous. but that doesn't mean you're a troublemaker in the party. Or I mean, oop, okay, there you go. Yeah, some of how they phrase things. If you don't know the history of shit, you'll be like, oh well, he's just an obvious asshole. But why would you? Um, Here we go. On the Republican Party and events. In mid August, Elder came under criticism for his past statements about women. Here we go. As noted above, he wrote that women know less than men about political issues, economics, and current events. Other public comments. What's the context of this statement? I mean, context matters because I say wild shit too. You can do this with, but I want to know what the context of this was. Other public comments have included suggesting that women who took part in 2017 Women March were obese and unattractive. Well, yeah, that's just fucked up. Scoffing at premenstrual syndrome by saying PMS stands for punish my spouse. All right, that just sounds like man bullshit about women, which has been going on since the cave days. America wants you to be this pristine character. No one's this pristine character. I've told knock jokes about ladies and unfair jokes. So you're gonna get that in people's lives. Uh, Maybe if you were born in a monastery and you were raised in a monastery, you wouldn't. But yeah, but some of this is taking part in like hatred, and that's what you don't want. So did he take part in hatred? Endorsing pregnancy discrimination. What is pregnancy discrimination? And claiming that statistics about domestic violence against women are exaggerated to promote feminism. He's not the only one who said that. In addition, his former fiancee, Alexandra Datig, accused him of abuse. Okay, she said he demanded she show devotion by having Larry's girl tattooed on herself during an argument. She said he brandished the gun in a threatening manner. After Datig allegations became public, the Sacramento Bee editorial board and fellow candidate Kevin Faulconer and Caitlyn Jenner called for Elder to withdraw. Just under this is the kind of shit. Some random woman comes up, never went to the cops or anything, but can just point her finger and go, I demand you get a tattoo of okay. He branded, why didn't you go to the police? Is there any police report of any of this shit? Right? This is why you don't want people's exes saying shit about them. Men never do, but women always do. And it's always violent. It's never like, oh no, he never hit me or threatened me, but he was just an asshole. He did this. He said, he's just not, it's always some sinister thing, which makes me think, seriously, look, do we want to read up his career and how he got Me Too'd out of radio? In 1994, Elder began hosting a weekday evening talk show on Los Angeles talk radio KABC. From 2002 to 2007, Elder's show was nationally syndicated by ABC Radio and its news talk, ABC News Talk, Citadel Broadcast, took over. Oh, I got another gnat in here. The show was continuing in favor of Mark Levine, and the show reverted to a local show in August of that year. December 12th was his final day at KBC. Elder began a daily live podcast as well as a web show. Elder was fired from K following afternoon broadcast. He was honored with a Star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. December 2nd, 2014, Elder was fired from KABC. Okay. Didn't say why he was fired. On June 1, 2015, 6 months later, Elder joined the lineup for CRN Digital Talk Radio. His program is heard from noon to 3 p.m. on CRN Channel 1 and is played from 3 to 6 p.m. August 2015, the Larry Elder Show began actual syndication. Jean Guerrero in 2020 interview on NPR said that Elder had told her that he had invited Stephen Miller on his radio show as a guest a total of 69 times, having been impressed with Miller after he had first called in to the show as a high school student. Miller, who cites Elder as an influence, later became a Trump administration official and the architect of Trump immigration policy. Stephen Miller is an idiot. Yeah, there you go. Larry Elder is leading this thing. How does a recall work? So it's essentially like another election. So you have an all-out call for anybody else to run a special election against a sitting governor. Recall. All right. A political recall is a process by which citizens can remove an elected official from office before their term is complete. This process typically includes the circulation of petitions by recall organizers, the evaluation of signatures by elected officials, and public votes if the petition are deemed to have sufficient valid. Blah, 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 blah. The details, okay. All elected, all elect. Okay, yeah, New York, none. Jersey, at least some. Local offices only. Look, if here's my thing, if you can have it in your local office, you can have it in your state and your man, these people, they, uh, it's always how does it work though? Recalling California, how a recall election works. All right. What is a recall? We know what a recall is. How does a recall work? All right, application, petition, submission, recall election. A recall election is held if the electorate votes to remove the a recall election is held if the electorate votes to remove the official from office. Another election is held to elect their replacement. So it's not he's not gonna run against him to see if they recalled Gavin Newsom, but Gavin Newsom is still the governor. And he's fighting against the recall. But so wait, so that would be that would be hold it. They said a recall election and then another election to replace the governor. So what the fuck is going on in California? All right, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. What I'm going to have to do is look it up later and just get with it myself. All right, we've been streaming for an hour and a half. We are gonna. Larry Elder is leading in the recall election. Polls in the California recall. By the kind of recall is within marginal error, what that means for Gavin Newsom. As recall looms, California governor aims to galvanize Democrats. So there's going to be a recall election. If he wins, he's still governor. But why is, here's the thing I don't understand. I don't understand the Larry Elder recall part. So it's like, does he run against a sitting governor? And you have to, or this is what this sounds like. Are they doing two things? Are they going to recall the governor and then also have not a primary, an election for the new governor? I have to find something on YouTube to tell me what the heck is going on here. Oh, is that what's going on? Okay, so I was right. So, all right. Okay, so I was right. They go head to head in November. Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, the embarrassment of this dude, lady. Sorry. Larry Elder, 23. Wow, he's leading by a ton. Under 40% are undecided. Shame on these people. Someone else. I love that someone else is on the ballot. Kevin Paffrath, Kevin Faulkner, Kevin Kiley, Caitlyn Jenner. Nobody. I mean, John Cox. Some people have name recognition, but yeah. Let's see what we got. All right. Signatures need to trigger a recall election 1497, 1,497,709. Current amount verified signatures 1,600,000. So they beat the required amount by I want to say 150,000, right? 149, 162. Yeah, by 120,000 votes. 27 support the recall election, 73 oppose the recall election. Well, if 73, here's the thing. If 73% of the people oppose it, this number should have been higher, right? Because let's say of this number, 27%, let's say that's 10 million people. If I bust my ass, I can get this number just from this group. That shouldn't be allowable, right? If this is 10, 27%, you should have to get a good lightning. You should have to get a good home. This, I mean, it's how people keep powers and keep power from you and do all this other shit by weird math games and word games and every now and then it comes back to bite him in the ass. He's a shit. I mean, I don't want to say he's a. I think he's a bad dude. That whole affair with your best friend's wife is sort of ridiculous, in my opinion. Um, oh yeah, you know what? We're gonna leave this, but we're gonna talk about one more thing really quick. Uh, so Elizabeth Holmes, this lady just went on trial today. She committed her crime 10 years ago, collected $1 billion, uh, laid up in the house for the 10 years. True. I mean, our society shouldn't be doing mandates. Yeah. Yeah, he was sort of a. Oh, so the Dem voters, they're gonna go up head to head, and it's like, do you want to keep them or not? I wonder what's gonna look like on it. I guess it's just be checked either one. But yeah, I mean, she's at the White House, swanky ass swank, right? The con of all cons. All right, so let's look. I just want to see when she committed these crimes. All right, so here we go. Downfall, right? 2015. That was the downfall of 2015. On October 20th, despite Bowles' legal threat and strong attacks, Carano published a bombshell article in 2015. All right, so when did this thing kick off? In December 2004, Holmes raised $6 million to fund the firm. By 2010, Theranos had made $92 million in venture capital. Yeah. So this goes back to 2000. Forbes recognized Holmes as the world's youngest self-made female billionaire and ranked her 110 on the Forbes 400 list. Theranos was valued at $9 billion and had raised more than $400 million in venture capital. And that is 2014 when she went live with it, but she was hustling it in 2004. And then it all comes to an end, I guess, in 2015, 2017. And here she is, finally going on trial. I mean, they don't, I mean, normally they don't send ladies to jail who are rich and famous, right? These lawyers have a locker on that. But when you steal that much money from people, you're going to jail. Yeah, when you steal that much cash from people, you're absolutely going to prison. The question is she going to get life for stealing $9 billion, or they're going to give her something stupid like, oh, shame on you, young woman, 7 years in jail and $100 million fine. And then people will be like, what happened to the 8.9 billion? What happened to the rest of that? And it's in, all these fucking triggered accounts, I'm assuming. Yeah, governors are autonomous, they can't be checked. A lot of these senators are essentially a cabal of knuckleheads with no checks on them. Everybody's supposed to be checks and balancing, but they've rigged the system. The system is so rigged, nobody checks and balances anything. They just perpetually war with each other. And every now, look, the last thing the Republicans want is for abortion. The Republican elite who run the talk is for abortion to not be a talking issue that they can raise $100 billion on over 10 years, right? They raise a lot of money talking about saving the babies. And then they're right as they turn her out of their mouth, they'll tell their mistress to get an abortion. They'll tell you what a horrible person you are. And then the Democrats will want it around too, because then they're sitting here going, well, look at them and they're taking your rights away. We need to raise money. And the way you help us is to send us a check and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, like I pointed out, this guy who lost the Buffalo election, and is still trying to like play these games to stay on the ballot and not give up the seat. I mean, that's what the Democrats were accusing Trump of. They say he was going to do, right? He wasn't going to leave office. I'm just counting the lightning. So, I mean, now you don't want to leave office. You don't want to. Yeah, he lost. It really is just like I'll happily be a dictator. I don't want anybody else to be a dictator, but I'll happily help these other people in my party be dictators. Erin County Democrat endorsed Indy Walton for Buffalo mayor. Yeah, because she won. New poll puts Brown 10% ahead of Walton in Buffalo mayor's race. That was 2 weeks ago, and then she won. And then he still hasn't conceded. And now he's trying to get on the Working Family Party and have a judge put him on the ballot anyway. Disavows Brown in Buffalo mayor's race. This is 4 days ago. I guess some of the people are beginning to feel the heat about it, right? Because all these people, mind you, he was a confidant of Cuomo, not a confidant of Cuomo, but he was one of like these upstate kind of. So yeah, man, him and Cuomo going at the same time. Somebody should look into the office. Buffalo Democrats are trying to stop socialist nominee. This is a week ago. So the Democrats are trying to. I mean, normally you see the Republicans doing this to the Democrats. You're like, oh, uh, look at what they're doing with they're subverting the rules and trying to get you not vote and uh, souls to the polls. They're trying to attack that, and now here are the Democrats trying to stop this woman from her rightful win, and they're Democrats. 2 weeks ago, Mayor Brown to submit a petition to get on November ballot with the Buffalo Party. Mayor Brown is confident he'll be on the November ballot. City Buffalo mayor raised another perspective. Yeah. GOP ways helping Brown rewrite in. So the GOP is going to help. I mean, you know what? If you're taking, it's so distasteful. It really is so distasteful. I don't even know what to say about it. All right. It just really is. It shows that they're not about anything they say they're about. And these are founding American principles that they're trying to overthrow. And I've always said, beware the precedent. Because once a thing happened once in this country, a lawyer up the stream will be like, well, the mayor of Buffalo didn't leave. I don't see why the president of the United States has to leave. It's a much more, and it's happened before, and the courts allowed it, and da 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 da. And I want to, and there you have it. Then before you know it, you got a president and no elections, and it's 13 years in, 15 years in, 20 years in, and in an environment where everybody, like we spoke about it, Ray, you don't have privacy anymore. You don't. Um, so if I'm on my Twitter going, I can't believe we can't vote, then all of a sudden the next day someone knocks on my door, and just for that, and because I spoke against whoever, they'll tell the media will say I was a terrorist, I was a drug trafficker, but none of your social media will say will verify any of that. You know what I mean? It really is ridiculous. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 9 hours ago, City Buffalo Fire Department awarded $95,000. All right, 4 days ago, they just said that he they just said he lost to remain off the ballot. I'm just curious. Buffalo, stop it. Buffalo, New York. A Friday, a ruling of the Erie County Board of Election blocked Mayor Byron Brown's attempt to get on the ballot for November's general election. So now, if Buffalo Mayor is going to get his name on the ballot, he will have to win a court battle. India Walton's upset victory in June's Democratic primary denied Brown the only ballot line he was competing for in his bid for a fifth term as mayor. He's been there for 20 years, essentially. 4-year terms. I'm sorry. He's been there for 18 years. Wait a minute. 4, 8, yeah, 6. I'm sorry, 16 years. My math is bad. Um, Then he launched a writing campaign while working a separate strategy. Brown backers were circulating petitions for an independent ballot line, but those petitions were well over 3,000 signatures were delivered almost 3 months late, well past the deadline. Okay. The argument made Friday by Brown's campaign attorney, Jerry Goldfeather, is that when the petition deadline was changed 2 years ago, it was moved too early in the election calendar, violating the constitutional rights of Brown and Buffalo voters. It's always throwing sand in the thing to keep a case going and make billable hours with some of these people as they undo democracy. Oh my God. I would rule that the petition be invalid as being untimely and wish both sides good luck as they litigate this litigate this out with people at a much higher pay grade than me, Republican Election Commissioner Ralph M. Morris said. Added Jeremy Zellner, the Democratic Election Commissioner, we will have utter chaos here if we start accepting past deadlines that are set by New York State legislature a month in advance. So I would agree with the commissioner. Yeah. So he was stupid late. And now Mayor Brown disagreed with the decision. Of course he did. We knew, however, this when we went in, this was going to a court process. He said, we have retained attorneys and we respectfully disagree with the Board of Election and we will move forward now with other legal options. India Walton released a following statement Friday afternoon. I would like to congratulate the Erie County Board of Election on meeting its constitutional duty to uphold state law and reject this untimely submission of ballot petitions. It is a shame that Byron Brown saw fit to subject the board to this frivolous waste of time rather than obey the law. Wow. And show voters and legislators the respect they deserve. The November ballot is scheduled to be set by September 9th, less than 2 weeks away. Yeah. So,
Well, Governor,
thank you. So that's that. I mean, and the thing that I heard was crazy was they were going to get rid of the mayor's position because they didn't want her to win. Buffalo removes. Let's see. Could Buffalo become a city without a mayor? So, in order for her, I mean, this is why I call it a cabal, right? It's like they're a gang. If this isn't one guy's bad idea, he went to other people and got it moving. The Buffalo Common Council is studying a change to the city's form of government, which will abolish the office of mayor. This is shortly after each one. University Councilman Rasheed Wyatt said Buffalo is one of the poorest cities in the country, and it has been that way for more than 40 years. That has nothing to do with this. Uh, Governance at City Hall has always been the same, and Wyatt said it's time to change. You're always going to need somebody. I think they always put black faces out here to pull off this bullshit. I think it would be insane for us to continue with this same form of government that has not yielded the result that we would have thought. Also, all right. Wise says Buffalo should look at changing the form of government, abolishing the mayor's office in favor of a city manager who answers to a common council. No. Ladies in Buffalo mayor's race between this model, I think, is over. Mm-hmm. Didn't mention her at all. All right, let's go back. Buffalo mayor candidate say hardship prepare. Buffalo mayor candidate. Buffalo. Buffalo mayor. Buffalo removes mayor's office to prevent. Yeah, here you go. All right. This is going to be the last one. What is all this? What is this? As we told you in June, India Walton Associate won the Democrat primary for Buffalo and came close to winning. Buffalo may remove mayor's office to prevent socialist India Walton from taking office in November. Okay, and then this is your fucking story on it? What is this? Oh, cowboy. Come on, people. You don't make any sense. Anyway, I guess that's it. All right, everyone. Please, 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 please have a good night. Take care of yourself. It's important that you do. I will be back here tomorrow, 6:30 for show 18. These shows don't have a title. We really need to fix that, but that would mean that it wouldn't be talking about the stuff every day. It would just I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for showing up. I know your time is valuable, and I'm appreciative of it. I'm glad we got to watch the sunset together. Thanks, Will. Hopefully, I see you tomorrow. You've got storms coming your way, so be careful. There's a storm coming your way this weekend. Did you see that? Ted, thanks for coming through. I got love for you, homie. And Information Man was in the chat for a little bit. Thanks for stopping by. And I guess that, where is it? I guess that will do us in. We'll just give this a like real fast. Remember, guys, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of these politicians trying to slip stuff past you. Just be like, man, come on. Here's the thing about being woke. You notice a lot of stuff, and that's the point. So you don't get taken advantage of. The word woke gets a lot of bad connotation associated with by rich folk on TV, and they don't know what woke means. Woke means be woke enough not to be taken advantage of. Now, woke doesn't mean a lot of the stuff that Bill Maher, Sagar Jetty says it does, right? But that's it. That's it for us. Let's kick this off. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6:30. I hope you have a good remainder of your night, and I hope you have a good morning and a good day until I see you again, which will be tomorrow at 6:30. Peace out.